It's time for another Dice Tower review with Z Garcia.
Hey everybody, Z Garcia here. Today I'm taking a look at one of the expansions to Thunderbirds, a cooperative game that came out some time ago from designer Matt Leacock and Modiphius, the company. And the game is a very solid, very engaging cooperative game. This one is modular, and it's really the only one that is very distinctly 4 different modules. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. I'm just going to be looking at the expansion. I'm not looking at the base game. So if you need to figure out how this one works, go check out our video for that. But if you know how that works, you just want to hear about the expansion, keep on watching. The Above and Beyond expansion for Thunderbirds has 4 new modules that you can mix and match however you want to, and it includes several new components. So it has the 10 disaster vehicle cards over here, the disaster vehicle models themselves. You have 2 new FAB cards, you have 2 new event cards you can shuffle in. You have 5 level 5 scheme cards. The base game ones only went up to 4, well these are harder, and you have 5 of these. You also get 10 blank cards if you want to make your own cards in the game. So you get all of these blank ones. You are going to get 18 character cards here. I'll talk about these in just a second. They are larger, as you can see. And you are also going to get the Jeff Tracy player turn marker. This replaces the star player token, that's all. And then you are also going to get 1 sand timer. And that's basically it. So, the 4 modules are disaster vehicles, you have leveling up, you have crisis mode, and you have epic level difficulty. I'm going to work these backwards because that's the easiest way to do it. So epic level difficulty is quite simply the fact that, well, you now have level 5 schemes. That's going to make it really, really epic and really tough. Crisis mode uses the sand timer, and it simulates the pressure of always working under a time limit, and so you are only going to get the 70 seconds that you are given by the sand timer before you have to complete what you're doing and draw the next disaster card. That's what that does. The disaster vehicles is, the way it works is they each have a special power that is listed on the card itself, and whenever you flip over a disaster that lists right below the illustration there, one of the disaster vehicles, so in this example, Fire Flash, and it comes into play, you are going to grab that and you're going to put it on the card as a reminder. And you should probably flip over the card that has the vehicle itself on it so you know what's going on. And when anyone completes that disaster and you stop it from happening, you can either get the tokens it gives you that it used to do always, and that's it, and you're done, or you do not do that and instead give yourself the vehicle. And they tend to have some really strong one-time effect, things like that. So for example, Fire Flash here says, transfer any characters between any Thunderbird machines on Earth. So pretty powerful one-time sort of thing. You have a lot of them. The Road Builder here says, while you have this card, add +1 when you do a land rescue, or discard this card to add +3 to any land rescue. What else? Crab Logger. The current player may take 2 additional actions this turn. Things like that. And again, you sort of, as they come up, you choose when you win it if you want it or don't want it. That's basically what they do. You do get all the nice miniatures, but you don't really need them. They're just, you throw them on the card as a little reminder. And then the final one is leveling up. And leveling up utilizes these new character cards. And the way these work is you are going to get a character at the beginning of the game, just like you always do. So, if I'm Virgil, then I would get the Virgil card, but he's at level 1. And so, as I'm playing the game, as I complete disasters, depending on the number of players, it'll tell you how many you need, but as you complete some, you will level up, and you start weaker than you do in the base game. And then, let's say I'm Virgil, as I said, and so once I level up, I would go through the pile of cards that I put aside, and I would take my level 2, and you're working now with another new power. And then once you level up again, if you level up again, you would go to level 3. And that's the max with some really souped up strengths. So that's leveling up. It does give you a nice progression throughout the game, but you start weaker, you could possibly end stronger than in the base game itself. That's pretty much it. Everything else stays the same. Your winning objective is still the same, trying to take care of everything before time runs out for you. And as I said before, you can sort of mix and match whichever parts of this you like to suit your play style. If I had to rank all 3 of the expansions for Thunderbirds, I would say that Above and Beyond here is my least favorite. And that's not to say I don't like it. I like it quite a bit, parts of it. But since it is modular, there are some of those modules that I'm not particularly thrilled about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rank them, and then I'll tell you what I like or don't like about them. I'll start with my least favorite one, which is the timed aspect of the game. If you play with that sand timer, you only have 70 seconds or so to take a turn, and I just don't enjoy that. That's okay. That time pressure would be fine in a 10-minute game, but here I'm not interested in having this, timer hanging over my head for an hour game. So it's not for me. I can understand if you're really good at the game, if you want that simulation of a real life pressure, the time coming into that, then yeah, maybe, just not something I enjoy doing. The second one for me would be the 5th level 5 schemes that make the game harder. And I thought the game was fine as it was. I thought it was challenging enough. I thought the variety that it allows you in setup is enough of a variety to make the game challenging, less challenging, whatever. And so level 5 is interesting. If I ever am amazing at the game, I will use them. But as of right now, there's enough challenge there for me where I don't feel very often the need to explore such a difficulty level. But it's there, and I like getting more of the same stuff. Is for me, I enjoy that stuff, so that's fine. The other 2 I really like. The vehicles, what are they called? The disaster vehicles, I think are great, and I love having some cards that when you beat them up, you can not get the tokens, but you instead get this other souped up thing. Now the plastic figures feel pretty superfluous, but I enjoy the concept. It's a simple one to implement, and it gives you more special powers, more timing sort of, concepts, and then you can, oftentimes it is a good idea to take them, sometimes it's not a good idea, depending on where you are in the game. All of those implications I enjoy. So I like that one. And then my favorite one in the game is the characters that level up, because that's just cool. And so yeah, it makes the game a little bit tougher at first, because all the characters start weaker than they did in the base game, but I love leveling them up. I love being able to go, yeah, I now have a new power. Halfway through the game, I have a new power. And that's great. And so overall, this is a solid expansion. And for me, I like about half the stuff in it. But you might like all the modules. You might like different ones than I liked. And I'm always a sucker for modular expansions that let you, like at a buffet, pick and choose what you play with. So, another really solid expansion for Thunderbirds. Here they are, all 3. As I said, I'll be doing a video for each one of them, so go check those out. And if you enjoy the base game, I would certainly recommend you get this one. And since I said this was my least favorite, I guess I'm saying I recommend you get all of them. That's it for me. That is Above and Beyond for Thunderbirds.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.